2. Okay, we are good. Hello, everyone. Let me just organize my things. Yes. How is everyone going? Happy Monday. Good morning to all the people over in the US. That's where you are, Lara.
I'm in Canada, so
Canada,
same time zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Canada, and good evening to everyone, I guess in the Southern Hemisphere where I am, in Sydney or Australia, New Zealand. This is the beautiful Lara Dawn. I'm so excited to have her on our group tonight talking about gratitude and ADHD. She's a mom of kids with ADHD. She's the founder of the Adhd Village. And I'm just really looking forward to hearing all about what you know, Lara, and what you can share with us, because there's, so many parents, I think, out there who have kids with ADHD or themselves have been diagnosed and are looking for some support and some things that they can do just to make life a little bit easier and kind of navigate those waters. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I always love talking with you, Stephanie. I love the work that you do. It's so important.
Thank you. I think we just have such a nice natural flow of conversation and sharing information, and that's the same as how I felt talking to you the first time, which was not too long ago really, but just feeling like you're so natural and so authentic and so honest and open.
Thank you.
No agenda, no hiding anything, no, like I've got it all figured out. It's none of that, which I don't. So I was like, okay, she's just like me.
I'm just a mom just with ADHD, raising kids with ADHD.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation tonight. And so the topic is called Rewiring the Brain with Gratitude. So I am just going to bring up my notes because I want to give you guys a little bit of background about Lara and who she is and what she does, and then we're going to jump into it. So I won't harp on about it because I want you to share, your story and a bit about you and your family with us as well. But as I said before, you're the founder of the ADHD Village. You have a summit coming up, which is really exciting, which I think everyone would love to hear about how they can access that and what is going to be involved and who's going to speak and things like that. And when that is, that would be awesome. So maybe we can mention that at the end. Awesome. Okay. Sounds good. So Lara is a certified teacher and she has over 20 years experience specializing in environmental science and special education. And she's happily married and has 2 neurodiverse sons, so 2 boys. And she supports mums in learning how to manage their own emotions while navigating their children's ADHD so that they're calm, confident, and deeply connected to their children. So I love that kind of concept of embracing ADHD and working with it to really more easily kind of navigate the seas, which sometimes I sort of explain it as. Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting all teary-eyed just thinking about some of the things I like to talk about. I'm very emotional.
Oh, that's okay. You're in the right space. You're in the right place. Don't apologize ever. So I was going to say, let us know a little bit about, you and your background, your story, your kids and kind of where you've come from, stuff like that.
So I started teaching in 2000 and was always drawn to special education and environmental science. That was my passion. Then I became a mom and things changed. And then I realized my oldest had some special needs, which we later found out was ADHD and a learning disability and a few other diagnoses. And it was challenging. And then my second came along and it was even more challenging. And to be honest, I was really overwhelmed. So even though I had all this teaching experience and all this experience with ADHD from a teacher's point of view, getting into it as a mom was like a whole different ball game. And I was really, really, really struggling. And I did everything I could to help my kids, of course, everything like pediatricians, psychologists, psychiatrists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, naturopath, osteopath. Who am I missing? like I did, there wasn't anything I wouldn't explore, like any mama bear, like I'll do anything to help my kids, but I was still really, really struggling. And then I found out that I have ADHD. So that's so interesting because a lot of moms who are raising kids with ADHD, who are struggling, they later find out that they have undiagnosed ADHD. So that kind of, things started to make sense for me. So what I was feeling was like not being able to cope and being so emotional and not being able to manage, it was ADHD. So just having that understanding really helped, because then I could, look at books and look at resources, and kind of things clicked and made sense to me. So it wasn't until I got into working with a life coach that things really, really changed for me. And my first life coach, I've got several life coaches for different aspects. My first life coach does very similar work to what you do with working on the emotional intelligence piece. And anyone who's raising a kid with ADHD knows that our ADHD kids are very emotional. Emotional dysregulation is a huge part of ADHD. One of my favorite authors, Jennifer Clary, describes the emotions in kids with ADHD like an emotional tsunami. Like it's just, you may have heard of the book, The Explosive Child. Lots of kids with ADHD are explosive. So emotions are like a huge piece in ADHD. This is why I love the work that you do, Stephanie, because our kids, especially our ADHD kids, really need that emotional education. And parenting doesn't come with a manual. Wouldn't it be so nice if you become a mom and here's the manual and here's all the instructions of things to do? And
yeah,
we're our kids' number one coach for their emotions, but we haven't been taught how to deal with our own emotions, let alone how to coach a little person with their emotions. That's why working with somebody like you, or a life coach, or some form of emotional intelligence training is so important, so that we can help our kiddos.
Yeah. So important. And I think just that, not only the support for our kids with ADHD, but like you said, for the parents to have that support and the guidance and the coaching as well. That sounds like it was pretty transformative for you guys.
Really, like it changed me. I became more calm, more confident. And once I was able to be more calm and confident, then the whole atmosphere in the home changed.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, I mean, parents and often the mom, we're like the captain of the ship, right? So if we're drowning, then the whole ship is going to go down. So once we're able to be calm and confident and in control of our emotions and understanding things, then we're able to guide our kids. Yeah. So that's actually what then motivated me to open the ADHD Village, because I thought, wow, if I had known this years ago, what a difference it would have made in my life. So I wanted to reach out and help parents who are raising kids with ADHD, because as a teacher and a mom, like, kids are so important to me. They are our future. These are our future leaders. So we need to give them the best start possible, and that emotional intelligence training is the best thing that we can do for them, for their future, for everybody's future.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, tell us a little bit actually quickly about the ADHD Village. You just said that's sort of something that sparked how that came about. Tell us a bit about that, because it's a community, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's an online community. It's on Facebook. It's a group. There's a few little questions you need to answer to join, but it's really a group of parents loving parents who are raising kids with ADHD, and we're here to support each other. And I find support is so important, because when you're raising neurodiverse kids who are a little bit different, it can be really isolating. You can really feel alone. You can really feel like you're doing everything wrong, especially when you're comparing yourself to your friends and how they're raising their children. It can feel overwhelming and isolating. So being a part of a community who gets it, who's also raising kids with ADHD, just that piece alone is so helpful. You bounce ideas off of each other, share experiences, ask questions. So the ADHD Village is a community where parents can connect with each other. And then I share little tidbits of information throughout the village as well. Little bits of mindfulness and things like that.
Fantastic. I love that. Maybe as we finish, we can both put in, or you can put in your links and stuff like that at the end to the village and things, so people can join, or they can get in touch with you if they want to ask you any questions. That would be awesome. I had a question actually before we dive into the gratitude stuff. Do you think, I don't know if you can really comment on this, do you think it's easier for a parent who has ADHD or realizes they have ADHD than to understand and help guide their kids who have ADHD? Or is that an extra load? Like, is that extra difficult? I don't know if you can, though.
That's a great question. And I think both answers are true, really. Because when you have ADHD yourself, you get it. You get what the struggles are like. But then when you have ADHD yourself, you're also disorganized and have a hard time focusing and prioritizing tasks. And you might be time blind. You might be super emotional and reactive. So that can be challenging. But on the other point, like, you get it. And then you know what strategies work for you, so you can try to help your child with those strategies. And it also normalizes ADHD. I've always wanted to normalize it. Like, some people aren't comfortable with it. They either don't believe in it, or they want to like not tell anyone the label because they don't want their child to be labeled. Yes. But I've always been loud and proud. Yep, our family has ADHD. It's just the way it is. It's not an excuse. It's an explanation. This is what's going on. So yeah, we might be, we might interrupt, or we might be late or whatever. And our brains work a little bit differently. But there's lots of benefits of ADHD too. We're risk takers. We're creative.
Yeah, beautiful. I was going to say, let's share with us some of those, the positives and the benefits, because there are, to any different way that a person is wired, I know there are benefits, there are advantages, and we sometimes just need to see past the stuff that makes it difficult, and kind of see those hidden gems. Do you know what I mean? Like the creativity and the social nature and things like that. They're beautiful qualities to be celebrated, not to be, like squashed down or anything like that.
So the name ADHD, I'll just grab this book here. The name ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And I stumbled on it because of this book here, attention difference disorder. So this is a psychiatrist from Canada, Dr. Kenny Hendelman, and he calls it an attention difference disorder because hyperactive can be misleading, because not everybody has the hyperactive piece of ADHD. Some people are inattentive. And then the attention piece, it's not that we can't pay attention. We're paying attention to everything with the same importance. So, I mean, our discussion right now is I'm attending to my diffuser in the background. I'm attending to the light that's starting to come through my window. So like everything all at once, almost with the same level of importance. So it's not that we can't pay attention, it's we're paying attention to everything all the time. And a benefit to that is that we also have the ability to hyper focus on things that are motivating and interesting to us. So when I started the ADHD Village, which came around the same time as my younger child's diagnosis of ADHD. Like once 75% of our household was diagnosed with ADHD, I was like, okay, I need to really dive into this. But then the hyper focus piece came into play because that's my passion now, is learning everything I can about ADHD, soaking up all the knowledge and then sharing it.
Yeah.
So thanks to my ADHD, the ADHD Village is here.
I love it. And I love that you say we're normalizing it, because I think that's so important for any neurodiverse child and any parent to be able to sit comfortably in, this is just another way that each individual is wired. We are all wired. We are all, we all have our differences. No two people are alike, not even twins. And just because a large proportion of humans fit into this type of category and others fit outside of that, it doesn't mean that's not normal, or it's a disorder or a condition. And I love the word difference. I used to work at Aspect, which is Autism Spectrum Australia, and for 7 years as a therapist. And we looked at kids on the spectrum as what we sort of called a different kind of brilliant, like they were wired differently. And some families wanted us to use the term autism condition, not autism spectrum disorder. Mm-hmm. And, the person first language that has now come out from adults, autistic adults. I shouldn't say adults with autism, because that is not the right way. So people are really embracing their differences, embracing how they are wired, and loving that community, like the ADHD, like we're an ADHDer. I don't know if there's another term for it, how there was Asperger's and people would say I'm an Aspie, like, it's that community, it's that identity I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure.
So
it's really empowering. There's lots of Facebook communities too for ADHD women entrepreneurs or ADHD moms. And so it's helpful to have that community to connect with. Yeah. Connection's so important.
Yeah, I think so, 100%. So let's talk about the topic for tonight, which is rewiring the ADHD brain with gratitude. Tell us a little bit about why did we choose that title? Why did we choose that topic? What are we talking about?
So this is what's getting me teary-eyed. So kids with ADHD, and every time I say this, by the age of 12, they receive at least 20,000 more negative comments than their neurotypical peers. So just let that number soak in. 20,000 more negative comments than their neurotypical peers. And these comments are coming from their family, from their peers, from their teachers.
Yeah.
These are little kids, and they're getting the, why can't you be quiet? You're too loud. You're too bossy. Why can't you sit down? Why can't you control your emotions? Like, why can't you just be quiet for a minute? Why, like, all this. And I think about the playground too, because our kids with ADHD struggle on the playground. They struggle at recess time. They struggle with impulse control, with reading social cues. So lots of problems happen at recess time. And then that's when the peers are going to tell the teachers, or the peers might be saying things to them like, you're mean, you're stupid, so 20,000 more negative comments by the time they're 12 years old. So how can we help them with this? Because we can't change what other people say and do. So this is the reality. These kids are dealing, on top of dealing with their ADHD and whatever else might go with that, often learning disabilities or communication delays, fine motor delays, there's anxiety, lots of things often go with ADHD. So they're already dealing with a lot in the world that we live in with their neurodiversity. And on top of that, they're getting negative feedback from the world around them.
So much judgment.
Judgment. Yes. And I mean, they're getting it from little kids who don't understand any better. And kids with ADHD might appear to be mean, They're not, they're learning. But because their reactions are so big and explosive, because they can't control their impulses, because they may not be reading social cues, they're misunderstood. So how can we help them with this negative feedback? So there's a part of the brain at the back of your brain, it's called the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. And it's like the bodyguard of the brain. So it determines what's important and what it's going to let in. So adults are, our prefrontal cortex is fully developed, and, whatever comes in, we at least have the ability to make some judgments and decisions about it. But our little kids, especially before the age of 7, everything is coming into their brain and they're perceiving everything as truth. And the other thing is things that are familiar, things that we're comfortable with, that RAS is letting into the brain. So, if you keep hearing, you're a bad kid, you're always interrupting, you're always getting into trouble, you're always bugging your brother, then that's familiar to your brain. It's safe to the brain to let familiar things in, so that the RAS is letting all that negativity in. So we can actually rewire our kids' brains by helping them focus on gratitude and positivity. So a lovely example of this is, I think about my 2 boys. When they were younger, especially, my youngest would say about the oldest, "He's so mean, he always breaks my Lego." Because that was like a go-to reaction. The older one would be frustrated and whoosh, smash the Lego. So, and then the younger one would say, "He's so mean to me, he always breaks my Lego. He's ruining my life," like all these big dramatic things. And so the more he focuses on those things, it becomes familiar. The RAS is letting in all the negative things. So he's noticing all the things about his brother. So we can turn it around and say, okay, let's let your brain focus on some of the positive things about your brother. So, something so small, like yesterday, the oldest said to the youngest to want to play football. And they passed the football together for about 5 minutes and there was no conflict. So then we talked about that quietly later, like, how did that feel? And that was so nice. Your brother invited you to play, and so nice that you said yes, and you passed the football. And so we're trying to focus on the positives, being thankful for the positive moments, because the more we focus on those positives, the more your brain is going to be recognizing the positives and focusing on the positives. Something else I like to do with my kids every day. We start our day off with gratitude. And I find this so fascinating because my mom always told me, before you get out of bed, think about 3 things that you're thankful for. Before your feet even touch the ground, start your day off in gratitude. And I always thought, oh, Mom, like, that's so sweet. That's such a nice thing. That's, how lovely to start your day like that. But it wasn't until I started researching, like, whoa, starting your day off with gratitude actually changes your brain on a molecular level. It releases so many feel-good neurotransmitters. And I just want to point out a book too.
Yeah.
ADHD 2.0. If ADHD is new to you, this is a fabulous book. And one of the strategies in this book is gratitude. And the book is written by, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's written by 2 psychiatrists who both have ADHD, Dr. Rady and Dr. Hallowell. So I love that they themselves have ADHD. So when you're expressing gratitude, there's neurotransmitters that are released. So the first one I want to talk about is dopamine. And what is amazing about dopamine is the feel-good neurotransmitter. And it gives your brain like a little high. And the more you do things that release dopamine, the more your brain wants to repeat that thing. So when you're expressing gratitude, you get a little hit of dopamine. And your brain likes that, and it wants to express more gratitude. Dopamine helps you focus. So kids with ADHD struggle with focus. And ADHD medicine actually works on the dopamine receptors. So So people with ADHD do have an imbalance of dopamine. So starting your day off with gratitude or ending your day with gratitude or gratitude throughout the day gives you that burst of dopamine. So it's the reward chemical in your brain, the feel good chemical. It helps you to focus. The other neurotransmitter that is released is serotonin. So that is for your mood, your general feel good. Serotonin also plays a very key role in sleep. And if you are raising a child with ADHD, you know that sleep can be an issue. Kids with ADHD have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. So if we can boost up their serotonin, we're going to help with sleep. So gratitude helps with dopamine, it helps with serotonin. And a way that I do like to do gratitude with my kids in the morning. It's part of our morning routine, and I'll ask them, "What are you thankful for today?" And they have these cute little gratitude journals, but you can use any kind of notebook or anything to record it in. It's nice to write it down. There is science that supports the writing piece, so if they can do the writing, it's best. But they might be too young or not, into writing. So you can write for them. So every morning we talk about, what are you thankful for today? And we spend some time really feeling into the gratitude, really thinking about why you're thankful for that thing. And then I ask them, well, what's something great that happened yesterday? So because kids with ADHD are getting so much negative feedback, I want them to focus on something positive that happened the day before and feeling into gratitude about how lucky they were to have that experience. Another idea is just to write those ideas down and keep it in a gratitude jar. And then when they're feeling down or blue or whatever, they can pull out one of the things that they're thankful for. It's not that you don't want to shove your feelings down, but gratitude is a nice way to get you out of when you're feeling blue. It's nice to focus on your gratitude.
Yeah, wow. There's so many beautiful ideas, and they're so simple, aren't they?
So simple. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free and it's so easy to do. Some families say grace before they eat, and that's really gratitude, right? For talking around the table, what's something great that happened today and sharing that. Doing a brainstorm or an art piece, or going outside with chalk and writing on the sidewalk about things that make you happy, things that you're thankful for.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful, and they're simple, easy things that we can create and we can encourage our kids to do. They don't cost money, most of them, and yet they are, over time, rewiring our kids' brain to look for the positives and to get out of a negative mindset perhaps, and look for what things make them feel really grateful and good. So I love those. Thank you.
and kids who are grateful, who really express their gratitude, there's all sorts of benefits. So one is that there's studies that show that grateful people are more sensitive and empathetic. So they behave in more pro-social ways. Even when people are unkind to them, they're less likely to retaliate. So hello, ADHD with impulse control and social struggles. So what a gift we can give our kids to help them feel gratitude, to boost those skills of empathy and social skills. Also, when you're in a place of gratitude, you're less likely to be comparing yourself to others. And that social comparison has such a hard hit on your self-esteem. And when you're able to be in a place of gratitude and celebrate other people's accomplishments, your brain loves celebration, and your brain doesn't know the difference whether you're celebrating for yourself or somebody else. So celebrating for others and being in that place of gratitude is so helpful for kids. And for us.
Yeah, all of us, right? Kids and adults alike. Oh, that is so helpful. Thank you so much for sharing those tips, those insights, and those ideas. I just love how they are so simple and so practical, but it does come down to us as the parents. Similar, same story with the emotional intelligence and raising emotionally intelligent kids. It's not going to come from our kids. They don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the life experience. They don't have the brain development. This is our role, part of our job as parents, to guide them and coach them and encourage them and help them look for the positives and be grateful and talk about their emotions and be open. That stuff's going to come from us. So yeah, we have some work to do. We have to cultivate and create this culture. I talk about creating an emotionally intelligent culture in your family because like we say, we're kind of the leaders of the ship, or what did you say?
The captain of the ship.
I was like, the pirates of the ship. No. It's too late. So yes, we are the captains of the ship. It comes from us. We're the ones who are putting these practices in place, little tweaks, changes, moments, interactions, and then before we know it, we have the culture in our family of gratitude or of calm amongst the chaos, and things like that. So one quick thing I wanted to ask before we wrapped up, and you talked about the summit and other stuff you've got going on, is I noticed you have a few books there. For parents who are interested in some good books to read to support them dealing with their kids with ADHD and things, have you got a few that you want to kind of show us?
So ADHD 2.0.
Okay, yeah.
That's a good one. Just
cool.
To really learn about ADHD. And there's all kinds of strategies in here. And it explains the neuroscience, which I love. Like, I love to know what's really going on in the brain. So this really explains that beautifully. And it's an easy read.
Yeah.
Trying to look for my favorite book of all time. Oh, here it is. I love books.
Me too. Oh.
This one's my favorite.
Ooh.
Connected Parenting by Jennifer Clary. And I actually interviewed Jennifer Clary for my summit. She's going to be the first speaker. Everything she says is gold, like really. So her big philosophy is the calm technique. So connecting with your children, really listening to them, matching their affect, mirroring their emotions.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you do tune in for the summit, even if you just watch the one day and watch Jennifer Clary, you will learn so much from her. She's amazing. So that's one of my favorite books for sure. Yep.
There's a few there.
Disconnected Kids by Dr. Robert Melillo. This one will help you understand what type of ADHD your child has. There's a disconnection in the brain between the right and the left hemisphere. So this helps you understand whether your child is more left brain or right brain, and what you can do to help strengthen the connection in the brain. Dr. Melillo is also one of the people I interviewed for the summit. So he has lots to share.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
So many great speakers.
Yes. Beyond Intelligence, Secrets for Raising Happily Productive Kids. This is by Dr. Donna Matthews.
Wow.
She talks about neuroplasticity and how we are like the architects of our kids' brains. And we have the power to rewire their brains. Big believer in mindfulness and a growth mindset. And Dr. Donna Matthews is also one of the amazing people I've interviewed for the summit too. So God. Lots of favorite books here.
Yeah, there's a few. If you have any more, we could always put them in the comments when we hop off in a minute.
Yeah, okay. I could keep going. Ross Green. I love Ross Green.
Yeah. Ross Green. I just did his collaborative and proactive solutions training. Amazing. So yeah. Yes. So good.
Zones of regulation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop.
Cool. So yes, tell us about your summit. I am also a speaker on the summit.
Yes, you are.
Which is exciting. Tell us when and where and how people can watch, because that's going to be incredible.
So I'll share all the information with you so that you can share, but it's called Calming the ADHD Chaos. So you can just go online, www.calmingtheadhdchaos.com. It starts, so you need to sign up for it. It starts on September the 20th. And each day for 14 days, you'll receive an email that comes into your inbox. And you click on, there's 2 speaker interviews per day. So you will be on.
Yeah, I don't know when I think
One of
I'm
the days.
on I feel like it was early
September
on.
26th.
Yeah.
September 26th.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Don't miss
So
that.
that's the day for emotional intelligence. Yeah. So so different topics every day. Each day there's 2 speakers, and you just click on the interview, and nearly all of the speakers are also offering free gifts, which is amazing. Like the amount of things that are being offered in this summit is phenomenal. So the idea is just to give parents all kinds of supports and ideas, and you kind of like pick what resonates with you. And I think you're going to know like where your heart will pull you in the direction that you need to go and learn more about. So it is free. It is completely free. You get the videos for 24 hours. Now, if you wanted to have the videos, if you wanted to access them for a year and receive the workbook and some other bonuses, then you do have an option to purchase, but the purchase is not necessary. It's absolutely free. It's 14 days. You might choose to watch for all 14 days, or you might just pick your topics and just tune in on the days that are interesting to you.
Yeah. That's so
Lots
awesome.
of incredible speakers.
Yes, amazing. Some big names there. I'm so grateful to be among some of them, and just for you to be able to, like, I know the effort that goes into putting on a summit or an online conference. I haven't yet created one, but I've been part of many different ones, all global ones, and man, the amount of organization time and slotting people in and getting their recordings and stuff and getting it out to people who sign up is huge. So thank you for putting that on free for everyone. So I would highly encourage everyone, if you're watching along, to go to calmingtheadhdchaos.com and sign up so you guys can access all the interviews and the talks that are coming up later this month. So yes. Beautiful. Is there anything else that what else you've got coming up or that you want to talk about before we finish up?
Just come on and join the ADHD Village and Facebook. Just it's nice to connect with parents who are like-minded and who get it. So it's nice to have that community of support around you.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So we'll put those links in the, I'll see if I can put it in the description actually of the video so that people can see it as they scroll through the Let's Raise Emotionally Intelligent Kids group, but also we can put them in their comments there. I feel like I saw a question. Oh, can we, Jamila asked, can we put the titles of the books in the chat? Okay. Yes, so you could go back and maybe put some of the titles and authors in for parents. And is this the same summit that was on last year? No, this is the first time you're running it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brand new. Yeah, I'm just starting. The ADHD Village has started in May, and I've just started my life coaching in May. So yeah, this is brand new. It's the first annual, but it's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, there's a few questions in the comments and things, but because we've run a little bit over time, I might, one of us can go in and we'll go through the comments and we'll pop some answers to some of the questions there, so that we can finish up and I can get to bed and you can get on with your day. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Lara, for coming on and giving us your time early in the morning and sharing your wisdom and your insights. It really means so much. I think, a number of parents either watching now live or watching later on the feed, or if you are watching on YouTube, this will be up on Lara's YouTube and mine. We'll put the links obviously below again. I think, parents will have gotten so much value out of just those simple, practical but yet transformative ideas and strategies, and those ways that we can cultivate some happiness and positivity and well-being for our kids with ADHD. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie. I love chatting with you. We have such a great connection, and I always learn so much from you. Thank you, Stephanie. And thanks everyone watching.
Yes. Thank you everyone, and have a beautiful rest of your day or evening.
Bye.
Yeah.